What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, everybody? What's happening? We're getting everything set up. Started a little late today because I am having all kinds of problems with my main light. Uh, peace, peace, peace. What's happening, everybody? What's happening? We're having some technical difficulties, man. My podcast light is really, really dark. So I am going to try to fix this lighting. This lighting is crazy right here. Light mode. And I want to try to see if that will fix it. But I want y'all to get ready to get tuned in, man, because this is going to be a great one. Show resolution badge on stage. This is going to be really, I want to have, let me see. Maybe that's why, because I didn't have string cord. I didn't have my string cord. So let's get right over here to this real one. There we go. Now we have the podcast screened up live, and we're live here on TikTok as well. Now, let me tell you guys something, man. I have been trying to get away from this subject of the Matrix for a while now, but the video that sparked all of this is well over, and I thank you. This video is well over 12,000 views, over 100,000 hours of watch time. And I am thankful. I am grateful. Appreciate you guys. That's a flex to you, not to me. That's a flex to you because you guys are the ones that are out here pushing it. So let me give you guys, and I love this right here. We want everybody to, if everybody can hear me, please put a 1. The comment section is on, so I will be able to read your comments as they come in. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've been trying to get away from this subject about the Matrix for about 2-3 weeks now. But the more people that come in and ask and respond, the more that it is. So I thank you guys for all of the comments and the questions, and those of you who are wanting to know more about how to become really independent, not just independent, but you want to know how to take care of yourselves. Now, the first thing that I'm going to start this off with by saying this right here. Just because people like myself and others who are teaching on this subject or who are enlightening you on this subject doesn't mean that everybody should do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a loaded pew-pew. This information is basically the equivalent of having a loaded pew-pew. And unless you are going to train yourself in knowing how to use it, it becomes very dangerous. And it becomes something to where the powers that be don't want you to know this, never intended for you to know this, because if everybody knew this information, you're going to have those who are going to try to manipulate it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is when laws change. This is when it all changes, because people they're not doing it to become free. They're doing it because they think that they're just going to come into contact of millions of dollars. Now, yes, there is a such thing as your securities trust. There is a such thing as how you can access it. Now, and I want to reiterate this one more time. They will never, the government, the corporate side of the government, will never unleash all of that money to you. Let's make this abundantly clear. You have millions of dollars in your securities trust, and you think that they are going to allow you to access, and they're just going to start writing checks out. That's not how this works, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why I just don't take everybody as a client in order to teach them or in order to enlighten them on how this particular side of the matrix works. Because money is not your problem. This thing between your ears is your problem. Now, I'm going to ask y'all a question. And this is how I want you to put your questions, put your answers in the comments. Put your answers in the comments. And I'm going to show you why everybody shouldn't have access to this money or deserve it. If the government paid out reparations, let's just say every melanated person got 5 million, just 5 million. All you got was they gave you $5 million in reparations. What would you do with it? Y'all go. Start putting your answers into the comment section. And I am going to keep going right along with this podcast and with this live stream. If the government wrote you a check right now for $5 million, what would you do with $5 million? And I am, based on your answers, not just me, because I already know what the answer is, but everybody will start to see who don't deserve it. One reason why in 2026, the melanated people in this country that I'm going to say that's from the age of 55 and under, I'm going to tell you why you don't deserve reparations. You don't deserve reparations if you are 55 and under because you haven't gone through nothing. Them little hardships that you're facing in your life, congratulations. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the real world. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are 2026. 2026. We have been in our sojourn in this country is reaching 500 years. 500 years. Most people who watch my page or watch my turn into the episode, the podcast or whatever content you guys might be watching, not even your parents went through the struggle. Your parents didn't even go through the struggle. Especially if you're under the age of 45, y'all missed the struggle. If you can't do the era of computers, you can't do the era of the industrial age was over with just about because all the jobs were shipped overseas into other countries, and you came up through the computer era age. You under 45, y'all didn't have an Atari. Y'all didn't even have that video game that had the stick man where you only had 2 games, but it was the same game. You had tennis and squash where the little stick man went up the TV and hit the little ball, beep, and you move that up there. If you don't know what an Etch-a-Sketch is, you ain't going to do nothing. You haven't gone through nothing. If you didn't grow up through the era of where your parents couldn't afford board games, so we had to go outside and draw the hopscotch squares with a rock into the concrete, you didn't go through nothing. If y'all didn't grow up through that era where the girls was out there playing the patty cake games and the hand games and the double dutching and the boys out there in the yard playing football in the street, you ain't gonna do nothing. You didn't go through the era of stickball, kickball. You ain't gonna do nothing. And you think as a child born anytime after 1998, you think that you deserve reparations? No, you don't. Now, so if you had $5 million and still nobody put no question, no answers in there, if the government gave you $5 million in the forms of reparation, what would you do with $5 million? This is the question that I pose to all of my clients that want to learn this information. The overwhelming majority of people say, I'm going to pay bills. You can't pay your bills now? I ain't making enough money on my job. No. What your problem is you're spending money on things already that's unnecessary to you. What you are doing is taking your time and putting that towards something that's not bringing you any fruit. To live this life as a private citizen, ladies and gentlemen, with your status correction, with your nationality, claiming your nationality, your sovereignty, getting your UCC1, getting a loan form of your birth certificate, learning how to pay your bills with postage stamps, learning how to not pay your debts are already paid. To learn all of this, ladies and gentlemen, what are you training yourself right now for? And you think that the United States government is just going to fork over you $5 million? Let me tell y'all what y'all going to do. If y'all can hear me, please put a 1 in the comments. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. And I want you to just look at what you already do with your tax return. Now, I'm not talking about everybody, because I know it's going to be some people on there that's going to get in their feelings. Well, I don't do that. I don't do that. Man, I don't go out. I don't drink. I don't smoke ridges. I don't smoke left-hand cigarette. I don't smoke no blunts. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't party. Well, if that's not you, thank you. But you still are in the same boat. Because even if you don't do none of that extracurricular stuff, what are you doing to prepare yourself? Just if you got $500 million, you got $5 million. What are you doing? How many books have you read in the last 6 months? How many books have you read in the last 6 months that taught you about being a business owner? Huh? What have you done in the last 6 months? What book have you read? Some people say, man, I'll invest in stocks. What stocks? What stocks would you invest in? Do you know how many stocks that are on the stock market? Do you know how many? Somebody said pay taxes. You can't pay taxes now? You can pay that now. What are you studying about the tax code? Do y'all even read? We'll get to that in a minute. I'm glad you said pay taxes, sir. Let me find out who that was so I can properly address you. Wilski 61. You said pay taxes. I'm going to cover that in a minute. So what stock would you invest in? And then here's the kicker with the stock market. How many stocks would you need to buy in whatever particular market that you were talking about investing your money in order for it to make a difference? The first thing that people say is, man, I'll invest in Coca-Cola or Walmart. Okay, where you heard that from? I'll invest in Amazon. I'll invest in Nike. I'll invest in all of this stuff. It sounds good. But my point is, you don't even know how much the stock is. Therefore, you don't even know how much you got to buy in order for you to make a difference, in order for it to be beneficial to you. How many of you have actually even started studying up and reading about investment? What trader are you going to use? This is the information that you should be studying and looking up before you just shoot off at the cap and start saying, I'm going to invest in stocks. Brother said, pay taxes. Great, pay taxes. Do you actually know how big the United States tax code is? There are laws in the tax code that can set you free right now to where you don't even have to pay taxes. We're going to cover that tonight. See, sometimes the information that you guys hear, it sounds so fantastically foolish that you never question it because you didn't even know that was an option. Two, you never question it because nobody else that you know said anything else about it. Did y'all know? And I'm going to give y'all the crest of social media. Social media links you together with other people who think just like you, based on what you post, what you like, what you comment on, and what you share. So this is a science, ladies and gentlemen. This is a science. They did a social study behavior. This is why the people that they pop up on your news feed that says you may know this person, you probably don't know them from a can of paint. But it's because y'all all watch the same videos that don't mean nothing. All y'all watch Lil Boosie videos. All y'all comment on what R. Kelly and Jay-Z and all of these people doing that don't even know you. It is so funny to me to watch people argue on social media platforms about who is the GOAT of the NBA, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Let me hit y'all with a news flash. Neither one of them Negroes know any of y'all. Neither one of them know you. So why are you arguing about a status or a debate on who is better? It is so crazy to me that people actually know the stats of Michael Jordan, but you ain't nowhere qualified to even be on ESPN. So you come on social media and you debate this and argue with this. And at the end of it, neither one of them is putting any money in your pocket. Now, there is a way that you could get paid from it, but that's not your focal point. I know of a little boy right now, actually, not the little boy, but the people that bought his page. This was when I first started being on social media. There was a little boy in Chicago whose dad was the Bulls fan. And he remembered going to the Bulls games. Now, this was back when Jordan and Pippen and Horace Grant and Bill Cartwright and all these people played with the Chicago Bulls in the heyday. So the little boy developed a love for the Bulls, and he had all of these highlight videos of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. And this is what was happening. He just posting it out of his mere love and attraction because his father was a fan. The little boy's page was not monetized. Most people didn't even know about monetization back then. Only a select few came to the party late. That's why you guys, if y'all look through my bio, I haven't been on social media that long. So I found out about the monetization in the around 2013, 2014, and 15 from my advisor. And even still, it wasn't Facebook. He told me to get on YouTube. So this little boy had all these highlight videos, millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views. His page was there for monetization. He was already worth a lot of money. This one they were paying real good. What happened? And it was shady. I admit it was shady. Morally, it was wrong. Because it was some rapper, or not even a known popular rapper at the time, but he was a rapper. And this was all around the same time that the Clips had got Jude out of their money with McDonald's. And then they started putting it out there about how to get monetized from their IP, social media content, and all this other stuff. So this guy went to this young boy, shot him an email, which had to be rerouted back to the parents. He offered the boy's parents $20,000 to buy his page. What they didn't tell the little youngster or the parents was that the page was worth millions if they knew how to monetize it. Now, y'all talking about gatekeeping. That was a straight up robbery. So when they bought the page, and some of y'all didn't even know that, you can buy other people's pages. You still can't, even to this day, especially on Facebook. If y'all was to look at all of the businesses that I got under my Facebook, I negotiated that. Some people might not think it's right. But hey, when I put information out there to people, I genuinely look for people to take the information and run with it. Y'all don't even know the number of people that I've helped that didn't even have money to pay for my course. So when people don't have the money to pay to get this information, I negotiate to take 40% of the business until A, I make my money, and then I release the page back to you. Or you pay me my money, what I'm worth, because my time is valuable. This information, ladies and gentlemen, that we put out here, oh man, I'm getting so far away from my subject tonight. But the information that we put out here, all of it can be found in a book. So when the brother said about pay taxes, do you know how big the U.S. tax code is? You couldn't put the U.S. tax code in 3 football stadiums. That's how large it is. The average American person only knows about 2 forms. The 1040 Easy, and it's called 1040 Easy for a reason, or the 1040A. That's it. That's it. The average person stops right there. You can either file single, or you can file married jointly, or you can file married separate. That's the extent of people's knowledge on the tax code. But what people fail to realize, if there is a 1040A, wouldn't that stand the reason that there's a 1040B, C, D, E, F, G, and every other alphabet that they wanted to put on there? Some people who have small businesses or home-based businesses, and that's through under those who went through the MLM phase, the multi-level marketing phase, where you learned about a 1040A filing a Schedule C. But if there's a Schedule C, there's a Schedule D, E, F, G, and H. So this is my point. The average person stops right there. This is our Achilles heel. We learn a little bit, and then we try to manipulate that what we know. So now, if some of you may have been old, maybe old enough to remember the era to where you filed in the 1040A form, now you're trying to find children to claim. Oh, we all know somebody in the hood that got a bunch of children. And boy, back during the heyday, ooh, boy, you were getting that child tax credit and that head of the household. And then y'all dropping that back during my time. You claim a child, boy, you getting $3,500, so you pay them $1,500. It didn't matter because you just got a free $2,000 added on to your taxes. Boy, back during the 90s when money was good, y'all talk back to me. But this is what the part we didn't know. Because when they start clamping down on claiming children that wasn't yours, then you have to show proof. See what happens when you start manipulating the system? This is what happens. Now you got to show proof that that child is with you 6 months, at least 6 months out the year. See, it changed because so many people were jumping on it and abusing it. Then when you got with a partner and you say, hey man, I got this child, man, I can only claim six months. You claim the other 6 months, and then I'm gonna claim 6 months. I'm gonna pay $750, and then you pay the other $750. That person was still getting that $1,500, but you still were dropping head of the household, and you were still getting that tax credit. And then it changed again. Now you got to bring school records that child was with you during that time frame. Then it changed again, and that child, you had to have something where that child had your address. I'm not telling y'all nothing y'all didn't already know. But this is what you didn't know. Because when they start catching up with people claiming children that didn't belong to them, then they start taking your taxes. Then they start digging back into your tax filings, and then every year that you claim a child that wasn't yours. Some people were so stupid, man, they were claiming a brand new child every year. Then when they start digging up in your tax history, then they start making you pay back taxes. You had to pay that money back. Fraud. Risking jail. But this is what you didn't know. It was easier and more legal to claim an elderly person who wasn't working than it was to try to claim a child. You got the same tax credit and the same money because you can then write it up under charitable contributions, and that person didn't even have to be related to you. As long as they were not working, which most of our seniors and elderly people are. Y'all out here, there was people like, I'm gonna say y'all, people out here trying to claim children, but wouldn't even claim their own mother, father, or grandmother, which was easier. All you had to do was have proof and receipts that you was taking groceries to grandmama, big mama, pawpaw, mama. All you had to do was show receipts where you was paying some of their utility bills. It could have been a light bill, water bill, gas bill, phone bill. It could have been anything. Because the IRS already knew that elderly people on Social Security didn't have enough money to pay their bills. But a majority of people were locked in on trying to find and claim a child. Some people still trying to do that today, trying to claim a child and won't even claim their own mom. See, this is the part about when the brother said pay taxes. It is your constitutional right to not pay taxes. Let me say that again. We are the most taxed country in the world. We are the most taxed country in the world. You get taxed even before you get your check. They didn't already put the Ginzu. 25.7% off the rip before you even got it. On top of, now, the gross, you taxed on the gross, which lowers your check. Then they taking out for insurance, taxed. Workman's comp, taxed. FICA, taxed. Local, well, that's the city and the county, taxed again. And then they give you, here you go, you can have the net. What's left is yours. Your check has paid for people that you don't even know. Your check done paid for the city judge, the county judge, the city attorney, the fire department. Your check done paid for the police department that's roughing you up. Your check has paid for the garbage man, the water man, the power man. Your check done paid for everybody else, and then they say, here you go. You can have that next. You can have what's left. And then some of these utility companies have the audacity to say, do you want to give somebody to help the school? See how they pull on your heartstrings? See how they pull on your heartstrings? This money is going to help your children in school. Man. So why you wouldn't think that you shouldn't? Now, and this is what I'm getting to. Tax code. Did y'all know that you can legally write off your vacation? Who all know about that? Put a 1 in the comment. If you knew that you can legally write your vacation off, that's the airfare, the gas, however you get there, the hotel or motel, whichever one you decide to stay in, and 50% of the food that you spend on vacation. How many of y'all knew that that was even an option? Well, just drop a 1 in the comments. Just drop a 1 in the comments if you knew that that was an option. How many of you knew that you can legally write your birthday off? Legally. Write it off. That's the rental of the venue, the DJ or the band, whichever one you're going to do, security, food, decorations, all of that. You can get all that back. This is the tax code. This is inside of the tax code. How many of you knew that you can write your utilities off? How many of you knew you can write your rent or your mortgage off? How many of you knew you can write your insurance, the tag on your car, the maintenance on your car, the gas on your car, the oil on your car? All of these are tax deductions that will put you in a lower tax bracket, which reduces the amount of taxes you have to pay, if at all, which amplifies your money. This is why our non-melanated counterparts never did all of these shenanigans about filing trying to claim children that weren't theirs. This is why they let their woman claim the children. They getting out. How many of you knew that you can buy a free car through the tax code? In the business, we call it buying a free car. I've spoken about this several other times. You can write off. Now, 47 brought it back. Joe Biden had brought it down to 60%, but 47 brought it back to 100%. They call it the bonus depreciation in the tax code. You can bonus depreciate 100% of the value of your car in the very first year. This is why we call the term buying a free car. This is why, and I said in another podcast, there are 2 tax seasons. There's January through April for you, and then there's September through December for people like me. September through December, I am trying to write off money. Any money that I have made, I'm trying to write it off. As opposed to a traditional W-2 person, you're trying to make more money to amplify your tax return. I don't know how many times I got to tell people, a tax return, a return. Just let this sit in your spirit. A tax return is not a good thing. A tax return means you overpaid. And y'all think that that's a good thing. Every year, I know I'm going to pay, but I don't pay over $200. I don't pay over $200. I know I'm going to pay. So why do we focus on September to December? If I know that I have made $75,000, I've been doing this long enough to know I got to pay taxes on $75,000. I'm not trying to pay taxes on $75,000. So you know what I do with that profit money, that plus money? I wish y'all could see this. Y'all can see this on TikTok. But I start a new business. I start new businesses every year when I know I done made some money. Y'all can't see that on the podcast. But yes, I start new businesses. I start finding ways to invest my money. See, now I'm going to hip y'all to something. Money that is invested cannot be taxed. Let me say that again. Money that's invested into something cannot be taxed. Why is that? Because it's not earned income. You are only taxed on 2 things, ladies and gentlemen: what you own and what you earn. So if I don't keep none of that money. I start investing it until it's gone, or until I get it down to below the national poverty level, which most of the people don't even know what the national poverty level is. The national poverty level, where the government says you are officially broke, where you don't pay no taxes, that's the level that you so broke. Well, yeah, no, you keep whatever you done made. Do y'all know that that's $24,000? So guess how much money I make salary every year? Around 18 to 22. And it's not cheating, because I actually have the paperwork to validate that I invested that money. Now, you don't have to invest in a business. You can go out and put any money you made, put that into you buying a rental house. That's an asset. You ain't made that money. You put the money into a project to make money down the road. So what do we call that? We call that deferred taxes in the tax code. Y'all write that down. Deferred taxes. Now, what that means is you're going to pay the taxes. You're just not going to pay the tax right now. And then what we call that is kicking it on down the road. We might kick that thing down the road 5 years. Man, you can't do that. Don't tell me what you feel. Don't tell me what you think based off of you haven't done no research. I am not interested in what you think or what you feel. Only tell me what you know. And what you know should be validated, verified through research and proof. If you can't show it to me in the tax code, don't tell me I'm wrong. Just say, I didn't know that. Because I didn't know it. Who knew? They never taught us that in school. They never taught us that in school. But the rich keep getting richer. The rich keeps getting richer. How can you be the richest man in the world and $467 billion? He got more money than is the population in the United States. Elon Musk himself has enough money in asset equity that he can pay every American $1 million, and he would still be the second richest man in the world. Ain't that? Now tell me how that math maps. On top of that, this man doesn't even take a salary. Now, how could you be the richest man in the world and you don't earn a paycheck? This is the game why I say most people who think they deserve reparations don't deserve it, because they haven't even asked themselves that question. How can this man be the richest man in the world and he don't get no paycheck? As a person who's a hustler, or anybody who got any type of game about themselves, your first response should be, I need to learn that game. I need to learn that game. Donald, 47, when he was campaigning against Hillary Clinton, she said on the debate stage, in front of cameras worldwide, you don't pay your fair share of taxes. You know what that man said? That makes me smart. Nobody ever said, whoa. What did he mean by that? What happened was she pulled on your heartstrings because you, as a W-2 worker, been paying taxes out the wazoo. But most people never said, why did he say that? How can he say that? That makes him smart. And then he went further. He said, I am doing the exact same thing as your donors are doing. Ooh. And then the subject changed. You know why the subject changed on the dime? Go back and look at that debate on YouTube. The subject changed like that. Because, whoa, wait a minute. We can't let all of these captured minds start digging into how to get around the tax code. See, here's the truth, America, or worldwide, wherever you're watching from. Nobody ever lied to you. They just didn't tell you. Then you say somebody who gets smart, well, a lie by omission is still a lie. Well, if you didn't ask, it's not my job to tell you. Who does that? Who does that? It ain't my job to tell you. That's why so many people get upset with me. Now, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Combined with all of my pages together, I have almost close to 200,000 followers and subscribers. I get more melanated people play the melanated card. You ought to be helping. I should be doing what? Say it one more time. I should be? See, black, that's what's wrong with black folk. Black folk don't help other people. I don't know you. What do I owe you? Because the streets that I came up with, it said, never go to war with people who didn't starve with you. Never go to war with people who didn't struggle with you. I don't know none of you from a can of paint, but here I am. I'm telling you that the information is there. The information is there. Now, look at it this way, family, because a lot of people overlook this. Y'all know how much time, money, and losses I personally have? Y'all know, y'all have to read my book to understand. I ate hot dogs and ramen noodles for 2 years. That ain't no cap. Because I was so determined. I'm looking down the road. I'm looking down the road. I knew if I focused and learned this information, the right now was not going to be permanent. I was going to get to a point on my journey to where I was going to be here. I believed it and didn't nobody else believe it. I don't care what nobody said about me. I didn't care what nobody said about me. It was easy for me to cut out all extracurricular activities because I had been there, done that, I know what it was going to bring. So why would I keep doing something that's keeping me impoverished? I knew what that felt like to be going out here borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. Boy, I had them check cashing businesses on rotation, boy. And I'm taking money from here to pay this one, taking money from this one to pay this one. And I wasn't getting nowhere. When I realized the trap, see, they hit you with that, oh, you can just get $125. You pay, but then you got to pay back $175. So they done took more money from you, which here's the trap. Now you got to borrow $183 because your check's short. You in the hole. These check cashing places, ladies and gentlemen, is legal loan sharking. Unregulated by the government. Now, I'm going to give you a kicker in the head. Look at the employer. Look at the background of your politicians. See what businesses they have a hand in. Did y'all know that I know over 500 and some people up there in Washington, D.C.? Over 400 of them has a check cashing business in their state. Ta-da! It's unregulated. They can charge whatever amount of taxes or interest they want. And the government ain't going to shut it down. Why? Because they are the government. Whoa. See, some of y'all never had a light bulb moment. Some of you never had a light bulb moment to know that this system that we are in was designed to keep you on the hamster wheel. Anybody know what that hamster wheel is, man? You just running in the same old place. Ain't going nowhere. And you running as fast as you can till you fall out. The hamster will literally fall out of that wheel. He will let it run himself to death. And then he eat and he sleep the rest of the day. And then guess what happened the next day? He get right back in that wheel again. Running in place ain't the same thing as running out there in the street. Running in place is for a lazy person. You doing all that huffing and puffing and sweating, and you ain't going nowhere. Which leads me to my topic tonight. There is a movie on Netflix, and I'm tying this in because I'm taking y'all somewhere, and I want you to understand where it's going. There's a movie on Netflix called Evil Influencers. Great movie. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to give y'all the parameters and how this is tied in. This woman felt she was led by God, which is a funny thing by itself. Why does every trickster and con artist always come to the people in the name of God? That's a different subject, but I'm going to tie that in too. It lets your guards down. It lets your guards down. When somebody comes to you in the name of God, or they feel they are spiritually led. God, well, why is it God always told them, but ain't told nobody else? And they always come to a people who are so disenfranchised and broken. Every scam, look, a scam artist only goes to people that are looking to be scammed because they are looking for something outside of themselves. They don't want to do the research. They don't want to go and read it for themselves. This is what makes people who come to you in the name of God manipulate so many people. I don't care what faith you are. From Jimmy Swagger to Jim Baker to Joel Osteen to Jamal Bryant, T.D. Jakes, Juanita Bynum. What's that heifer up there in the White House right now? Telling Donald Trump he is Jesus, and then we all get shocked and all he is being persecuted like Jesus. No, he ain't. Paula White. That's the biggest scam artist. She done scammed her way all the way up to the White House. Boy, that's pimping. That is pimping. But the people are so looking for something outside of themselves, they don't want to read and study. Reading and studying is too hard, as opposed to going out there and just winging it, or you hear a little bit and then you run with it. Then when the IRS comes knocking at your door with a tax audit, then you want to say people like me, man, you lied to me. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I tell anybody, don't just take my word for it. Go back and research it for yourself. Now, I've already put the word out there. And then when you go back and research it for yourself, and you find out what I have said matches with what you have researched and read, now we got confirmation. Both of us can't be lying. We can only both be telling the truth. You know how hard it is for two people to tell the exact same lie? You don't know me. You don't know who wrote the tax code. You don't know who wrote the UPU treaty. But when I say something and it's validated and verified through those different entities, reputable entities, you can't get more reputable than the Smithsonian. You can't. Now, those people go back ages. Or the Library of Congress, or the IRS, or the Social Security Department. That's what he said right there. Yeah. I don't even have to pay taxes. All my debts have already been paid. Huh? Now, so this woman, and this is I don't want to spoil the movie, but she conned these people. Now, it happened in Utah. I don't know if that's it, but there was a part of the Latter-day Saints, the Christian Latter-day Saints, whatever they call them, CLDS or CLS, whatever they is. It was the Church of the Latter-day Saints, the Mormon folks. She had them convinced the bishops of the Latter-day Saints. Now, boy, oof, he convinced the bishops. Now, these bishops are supposed to be the most knowledgeable, learned people in the church. Even if you are not in the Latter-day Saints, your bishop, whether you're Baptist, Pentecostal, whatever, Catholic, Presbyterian, don't make no difference. Your bishop should be the most knowledgeable, learned person. And this woman tricked them into them referring all of these people who were having problems in their marriages to go to her. Hold on, TikTok. Yeah, we back TikTok. She had convinced these bishops to send all of the people in the Latter-day Church to her for counseling. Now, in less than a year, she had them trick these men and women, some educated, some not educated, some just young, but some, she convinced these people that they all had a sexual addiction. My first thoughts was, why harp on sex addiction? It was so bad. She said that even if they had watched or looked at porn one time in their life, they was an addict. I was like, oh, wow. If they was an addict, boy, woo, I would kill myself from 16 to 21. This was back when they was on VHS tapes. Woo. I remember, oh my God. But I remember sneaking in my old man's stash, boy. We had them Swank and Q. But he had some butt I ain't never heard of. I was a deviant at 14, 15, 16. And I was like, wow. Seriously. All right, I got to unplug from, there we go, TikTok. I got y'all now. But here's the thing, y'all. In less than a year, she had to convince these people that they were sex addicts. All the way up to the point she told these women that they had to put their husband out. Nobody in the church saw that was a problem. And she had them trick the judges in that town as a therapist that these men should be removed from the house. Now, when she got rid of the men, the women had them signed over all of the money. The husband is paying bills in two places now. He paying bills in his spot and paying bills at the wife's spot. And they haven't seen their wife or their children or the children in 2 years. That was the most severe case. Now, stop. I ain't going to tell y'all no more the movie. First thing I said was, wow. She tricked these folks in less than 12 months to give their whole entire lives over to her. She's living in a $10 million mansion out in this remote part of Utah in the desert where it was only 10 houses, and she had a 10,000 square foot mansion. And not one person said, wait a minute, something has got to be to this. So I started thinking, I said, well, if she can do that, nobody ever read the book for themselves. She's always had this epiphany or this word from God that told her. And these people never even read the book themselves. So I said, if she could do that in less than 12 months, imagine what a government can do with a 250-something year head start. Now y'all picking up what I'm putting down? If she can trick these people into giving her all of their money, putting out their husband, separating them, the children, from their father, and then she was even abusing the children that wasn't even hers, and then nobody even questioned the fact that she didn't even have a relationship with her own children. I don't see how this story is sounding familiar to the system that we are in. You don't need that husband, woman. All you got to do is fill out these papers, and the government going to take care of you. The government going to feed your children. You don't need no husband. Your children don't need no father. We going to take care of you. We going to even pay for your education. And here it is, society, majority of people, it don't matter what color you are, all got duped. All got tricked. There are non-melanated people that's catching the same hell as melanated people. Catching the same hell. Look at Kentucky. The stats. There's already been reported. Kentucky, the residents of Kentucky receive more food stamps than any black community in the country. That was saying a lot right there. Then you have these folks coming on TV, they took our food stamps. I can't even feed my children. See, but what they got everybody caught up on? They got everybody caught up on a black-white thing. Donald Trump ain't racist. He don't care about nobody. He is. He's racist. He's racist. Y'all heard what that man said about James Comey, who is non-melanated? Y'all heard what he said about the actor, the man from Archie Bunker, who is non-melanated. You've heard what he said about Hillary Clinton, who is non-melanated. If it don't benefit his pockets, he don't care who you are. That's why he got them. Look, let's move on from that. So if this woman can take everything from these people in less than a year, what do you think a government can do after 250 years? Keep making you believe in the dream of America, the American dream. See, as long as you dreaming, you will never be what? Woke. Keep believing in the picket fence with the house on the hill, where you got two children, a boy and a girl, a beautiful trophy wife who only weighs, she's a size 2, who's going to stay at home and cook and clean, and everything is going to be like Leave It to Beaver. Where she's going to have your meals prepared for you and all of this stuff. And you even got a dog that looks like Lassie, or a dog that looks like the Golden Retriever, Old Yeller. You're going to have an Amos and Andy, Mayberry type of life. The dream. And then you have somebody throw in for extra measure. Oh, man. You got it. Oh, man. You got everything. Yes. And then they throw this in for extra measure. Well, if you work real hard, Robert, you can have this too. Well, damn it, what make you think I ain't working hard now? Nobody ever said that. But nobody ever asked the question, how can I get it? You know, my advisor told me, he said, Robert, you find somebody's lifestyle. You find somebody's lifestyle that you like, and you do everything that they did, and you will get there. It can't be that easy. It came down to, what are you willing to sacrifice? For me, it came down to, I know that in order to make money, you need to be around quiet. No confusion. You can't be around chaos. Let me tell you what I did. And y'all can do this on your own. Regardless of where you live. I don't know where anybody's watching this, but I want you to go to the hood and just sit. Don't talk to nobody. Just go out there and sit. And look at all of the chaos that you will see. Cars zipping up and down the road. Cars stereo systems beating loud, so loud, man, you can feel it in your chest. People screaming. It looked like they had children having fun. They're just screaming, just noise. Basketball going on. Somebody going to eventually get the cussing and fussing and talking about they got foul and there ain't no foul. Look at all of the hustle and bustle, the distractions. Y'all know what's going on out there in the hood. I ain't got to tell you what's going on because your hood just like my hood. But then, go to the suburbs. Go out there. Now, some of these gated communities you can't get into. But just go out there and sit and observe. 5 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, it's daylight saving time. 6 o'clock, even before it gets dark, it's quiet. See, in order to make money, you need to have quiet and peace. Because you got a lot of things that's going on up here. And you don't need the chaos to add to that. You need to be able to sit in your office, in your home, and conduct a business meeting with people overseas because they're on a different time zone. Philippines, 13 hours ahead. I got people over there I'm doing business with. It's already 8:30, 9:30 in the morning over there. So I need quiet because I got money popping everywhere. So guess what I did? Now, I ain't had the money at the time to move, but I used to park my truck in my backyard just to keep people from stopping by my house. Cut all my lights off. I'll be in the house. But you would think that I was gone. I don't need the club. Been there, done that. I don't need to drink. I'm just wasting money. I'm just spending money. Boy, you stop chasing women, boy, you got a lot of money. Some of y'all men can back women. Boy, you stop chasing women, you got a lot of money. I don't know nobody who go to the club and just drank one drink. Before you knew it, you done blew $100 in the club, and then don't get to talking to no gal. Oh Lord! Then everybody, after you done went to the club and then got drunk, then everybody want to go to Waffle House, Puddle House, Denny's. Crazy. You know how much money you spend on a house and you ain't never at home? Because you always in the street. Always at somebody else's house, but you paying rent on a house that you ain't even at home. That leads me to my question. What are you doing to prepare yourself if they gave you $5 million? You ain't doing that with it. You'll give it all back. You will give it all back because the first thing America would do will have a reparation sale. You know, went all year long and ain't working on your credit not one time. Then they're going to drop $5 million in your bank account with bad credit. Then you're going to go out there and buy something. You ain't going to pay cash for it. You know you're going to finance it because you got some other stuff you want to do with that money. So you're going to go out there and finance something with bad credit, paying higher interest, more money, but you don't care because you got the money to pay for it. Not realizing $5 million in 2026, that's the equivalent of having $500. $100 don't last like it used to, y'all. What are you doing? Well, man, I start my own business. What business? If I see one more melanated person start a daggone car wash, man, I'm gonna pull my short curlies out. If I see one more melanated person open up some old greasy spoon backwater smash burger restaurant, man, oh my God. We don't need no more clubs. We don't need no more detail shops. You sitting on $5 million and ain't nobody went and bought property. Oh, I just want to pay my house off. Let me fill y'all in on something. Even if you bought a house, buying a house, and paid for a house, that house ain't never yours. Not as long as it's up under your name. It's never yours. Miss that property tax one time. They're going to let you know real quick whose house it is. This is what I'm telling y'all, man. When you hear information, start reading for it. As long as you got a damn phone in your pocket, it don't cost you nothing for you to ask Google. It don't cost you nothing for you to ask AI. Now, some stuff on AI, because you got to understand who programmed AI. AI would start telling you a lot of stuff is wrong, is false. But if it was false, how can there be over 300,000 people in this country that are private citizens? If being a private citizen was not accurate, how can the Amish people be private citizens? How can the Jewish community in this country be private citizens? How can the Indians, the one with the dot, how can they be private citizens? And then, because if that was not the case, then people wouldn't have the argument, how can these people come over here to the country and they got better than we do? They got their own businesses and we don't own no businesses. That's because they know the law. See, instead of getting mad and angry about the people that have infiltrated your community and got businesses and you don't, stop getting mad. Start finding out what the hell they know. We make fun of our Hispanic community. Love my brown people. Love them to death. They got a model and a system that's so fat. They will move into a trap house in the hood. We know it. We 2-3 families in there. The whole time they in there renting that trap house that we never did, we thought we were too good to get. They fixing that thing up. Ooh, boy, I'm talking about, boy, they fixing them up. Brand new trucks, brand new SUVs. See, what they done, they pooled their money together. How many of y'all in business with your own family members? I'll wait. So before you go making fun at other communities who have came together, pooled their resources together, then now the man that they rent the house from, he don't care that they fixing that house up, but then they make a power move and buy the house. And then what happens? The family that's been there the longest, they'll move out and go get another house. And then they'll bring somebody else in to replace that one. And then the cycle keep going. Before you know it, in less than 5 years, they done got 5 houses that they all own. That's all a brand new remodel. They own it. All of them carpool and go to church together. All of them carpool and go to work together. But I was wondering, like, damn, does every Hispanic family got a van? I mean, they ain't got no regular Astro van or no little. They folk got the church van. And they all going to work together. All the men going to work together. All the women staying at home, cooking the food, raising the babies, and teaching. How is it that their children are bilingual and yours ain't? The children know where they came from, but your children don't know where they came from. Let's bring this on home, family. What I am clearly and merely telling you is, I'm no superhero. I'll be that if that's what you want me to be. If you want me to be better than you, I mean, hey, I will. It don't hurt my feelings. But what I know, I got it out of a book. I learned it from asking questions, and not just dumbass questions. Questions that will lead me to another book. See, the one thing that I know about rich folks, and I've been around these folks a lot. Just lost TikTok. I'm gonna try to bring this back up. Nah, I ain't gonna work with that TikTok. They had the kitchen on the podcast. The one thing that I know about being around rich folks, they want to see how much work you're gonna put in. They call it sweat equity. Ain't nobody gonna never give you no game, man. Because if I give you the game and you don't do everything that I tell you to do, you just wasted my time. And my time is expensive. And it's gonna piss me off. And I ain't gonna tell you nothing else. See, nobody wants to go through the learning part. They just want to they don't want to go through the appetizer. They want to go straight to the main course. Man, just tell me how to get the steak. Well, then they go kill a cow. Yeah, he got a whole bunch of steaks on there. That's my mindset. If you don't want to take the time to sit, listen, and learn, no, I turn down more money than I make. Because I can already see it when I do the consultation call. Oh, you're just going to waste my time. I'm sorry. I'm full right now. I'm not taking on no new clients. Oh, man, when you go? You ain't got no videos? Just give me the video of how I can get my money. I don't post videos up like that. Have y'all ever noticed? After I do these lives, I pull them down 48 hours later. Now, if you want to go to the podcast and subscribe to the podcast, you can get any information you might have missed. Sometimes they don't even make it 48 hours. Sometimes they don't even make it past the night, 12 o'clock midnight. I put it down. That's why it's so vague on the information that I give, but you got enough to start looking. Now, if you're not even going to take the time to Google search it, ask yourself, why should I spend any time on teaching it to you when you won't even find out first to see if I'm lying to you or not? Y'all don't know me from a can of paint. I mean, I appreciate all the authenticity and, oh man, you sound like you real. I appreciate all that shit. I mean, one, I ain't got no reason to lie to nobody about it anyway. I'm living my life. Anybody that knows me, that's my saying. Man, how you doing, man? I'm living my dream and loving my life. If it get any better, it's got to be two of me. I've been saying that for years. And it's true. You can't see. I'm gonna tell you how I think this game is. Now, and y'all can search this. I'm gonna tell y'all how I think this game is. I don't own anything. Not even this shirt. I don't even own it. You can't Google my name and they tell you where I live now. I don't have no record of my address in the past 5 years. If you see an address from Google, I ain't been there in 5 years. I started learning this business 10 years or 12 years ago. You can't Google them because I don't own nothing. It's owned and it's paid, but it's not owned by me. and the bills are not paid by me. See, when you start learning this game, ladies and gentlemen, that's why they want you to put your name and your social security number on everything. They want you to put your name and social security number on everything. That's why you can't lie and cheat the system, because you gave them all the information that they need. If you got a car registered under your name, even if the car paid off, you got a tag registered under your name, you got insurance registered under your name. So it's easy for people to find it. It's easy for people to say, if somebody was to sue you, well, we know you got such and such, such and such, such and such, because it's registered under your name. It's married to your social security number. When you start learning this game, ladies and gentlemen, your EIN number becomes your social security number. Your EIN number is just not for business. That's who you become. My most successful viral video, your EIN number, your social security number, your passport number are all 9 digits. Which one do you think I'm going to use? EIN. Then you start to learn that you don't need a driver's license to drive a car. Use your passport. Ta-da! I'm just giving y'all free game now, because we get ready to wind down. Your driver's license only covers land driving. Where do you get your driver's license through? The DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, which is another government entity. The Department of Transportation, the DOT. Who is under who? The United States corporate government. But where do you get a passport? The post office. Now, a passport, it covers land, sea, and air. I don't even care if you're going on a cruise. You got to have that passport. They don't want your damn driver's license. You flying overseas, they don't want your driver's license don't mean nothing in Europe. Your driver's license don't mean nothing in Mexico. They want your papers. You can drive overseas, even Canada. You can drive in Canada if you got a passport. That's the power that the passport has. But what they tell us at the age of 15, you need to get your driver's license so you can start driving. And they start tracking you. And then, guess what? They got slick. Because guess what they got on their driver's license now? A barcode. That barcode is what? All your information. Ladies and gentlemen, all y'all got to do is read, man. The book of the Bible says, study to show thyself approved. You will never be approved on nothing if you don't study. It also says in the book of the Bible that the people suffer because of lack of knowledge, not lack of money, not lack of bling, not lack of cars. Knowledge is what the people miss. Knowledge is what the people miss. So root yourself in increasing your knowledge. I don't care what it is. You want to know about business? See, there's even a thing in business because I've had a business since 1995, and this is in my book. I've told this story several times before. From 1995 to 2012, all I had was a business license. I was not a legit business. Nobody ever told me about being registered at the LLC. Nobody ever told me about being a C Corp or S Corp. Nobody told me how to model and structure my businesses. A lot of that was because nobody ever told them. I know a lot of people that have a business, but they were wrong. See, all I ever thought was as long as I got that blue paper and that green paper and a picture frame hanging up, I thought I was straight. Little did I know, I was throwing myself in a higher tax bracket. Extra earned income. And I'm still wondering, man, I ain't getting over the hump. Man, that thing put some pressure on you, man. When you start taking money out of the household to keep the business running, and the whole time it's extra earned income. It was as if I had another job. Wasn't getting no benefit out of it. I wasn't writing the mortgage off, wasn't writing the insurance off, wasn't writing nothing off. Extra earned income. See? But people suffer because of lack of knowledge. And I didn't even have the sense because nobody ever told me. Every business that I went into, all I saw was the county license and the city license. That's all I ever saw. Look in your local barbershop. They're supposed to have that LLC paper hanging up in them. Now, these guys are individual business owners. Each one of those barbers, they don't work for the barbershop. They work inside the barbershop. They're supposed to be paying their own taxes and their own wage. But nobody ever told them that. So they sitting up here paying whatever that booth space is or that chair space is, and they're not getting none of that money back. They're not getting back the cost of their clippers. They're not getting back the aprons. They're not getting back the spray, the alcohol, the razors. They're not getting back the shampoo. They ain't getting none of that. Even your stylist, the nail tech. Ain't none of them folks getting none of that money back. They just throwing away money. But boy, you can't tell them they ain't living high on the hog, though. Especially down here in Florida at $30 a haircut. And you done cut 4 heads in an hour. You done made $120 an hour. I know some driving Mercedes. I know some driving Range Rovers. Honda David Motors. I mean, they got it big. But imagine if they really knew how to do this, how to work the system, really how much money they could be having. It's the stuff that we don't know, ladies and gentlemen, that hurts us. This is why y'all tune in to me, man. I give y'all the information that you need in order to help you be a little bit more successful. But we got to stop thinking first that this is all that it is. Because I can promise you, it's not. You know how many business people that I know of, they still got a personal vehicle in their name? And they got a business. They got the LLC. They got everything set up. You know how many business people I know, they still got their cell phone under their personal name? It's not just you, ladies and gentlemen. I have coached these people so I can bear witness myself. There are people that have been in business over 10, 20 years. Still got a cell phone under their name. Still got vehicles, a car. Now they riding good, but it's under their name. still got their houses under their name. Now, this would be your middle class or quote unquote middle class small business owners because the information was not even put out there for them. Whoa, this I tried to tell y'all, this ain't no race thing. This ain't no race thing. This is between the haves and the have-nots. And I know a lot of them. It looked like they have it, but they don't have it because small business owners, it's a bracket. If you're making less than 25 million, oh, you don't get access to the man who's making 100 million. Them two different conversations. Just like it's two different conversations between you that's making $100,000 a year, then you having a conversation with somebody at Popeye's flipping chicken. Y'all ain't got no conversation. I mean, what y'all gonna talk about? Flipping chicken? This is when you learn that the classation in this country, ladies and gentlemen, which then you start learning there is no such thing as middle class. I just told y'all, it's the haves and the have-nots. Ain't no middle class. There is no society on the planet that has a middle class. Only in America, but it's not really a middle class. That's that feel-good gray area. Because they got to keep the dream going so you don't never wake up. I'm in the middle class. What is the middle class? What is the middle class? You know what the middle class really is? I just want to pay my bills and keep good credit. That's what the middle class is. But you still a worker. And you working to keep good credit. That's it. That's all you're concerned with, is keeping good credit. And you think that you done made it because you got good credit. Your credit is always going to go up and down. One, let me tell you why your credit going to go up and down. Then I'm getting off here. Your credit will always be on a roller coaster every month. Because the average person don't know there are two dates. You have a bill date and you have a due date. And for any of y'all who are following that trap of picking the date that you want to pay your bills, you already 10 to 15 days late. So every month you're going to be late if you don't pay your bills on the due date, which is midnight on the 1st. You thinking you're doing good because you paying your bill by the 3rd. You already 2 days late. Well, that's the due date. The due date don't mean squat. The bill didn't come out on the due date. The bill came out on the bill date. Y'all see what happens when you don't know? Then they try to make you feel good. Well, we'll set this up on auto pay. It's still late. It's still late. How can you think that you're paying your bills on time and you still your credit fluctuates between a 700 and 720 every month? It says that you pay it on time because that's the date, the due date. That's why all your bills say pay by this date. So when it goes past the 1st, your credit start dipping. Then it come back up. And you pay on by the 3rd. Then it goes back down again. Dip. It's like that on all of them. Now, the average person, you know how many bills you got in that first week of the month? Mortgage, car notes, insurance, utilities. All of these bills coming out on the 1st. That's why I hit your credit so hard. Next month, watch how much your credit dip down after the 1st, from the 1st to the 3rd. Just pull your credit report and watch how far your credit dip. You ain't got to trip, believe me. Listen to me now. Believe me later on. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.